So I'm just checking the weather on my Fitbit app, and it's 4 degrees here in South Shields, up in this now office space that I'm in. But several years ago, in the winter of 2013, 2014, when I was kind of in the middle of like a year into my business and starting it off, I actually used to wake up in this position right here where this sofa is. I used to have a bed here, and I used to wake up with frost on my forehead because there was no central heating in this building. There was no cooking facilities in this building. What I did do was create this area, which I'll show you in a second, into my own flat. And I lived above my business to try and make it work in the early days. And it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. And I moved out of me mum's because I wanted to kind of make a go of it and stand on my own 2 feet, you know, not have to rely on the parents. I had to kind of push myself to that zone where I wasn't comfortable, but I needed to make it work. I needed to make it work. So this area here where I'm standing, I had a double bed. I had my double bed. I bought an electric blanket. I had my 2 cats who unfortunately passed, Mimi and Susie. And along here, I had a shelving unit. I had a little sofa right here. I had my flat screen TV, my Xbox. It was like a little pad, but it was just tiny. Living up here. This is in the roof space of an industrial unit. Now, you're not supposed to do that. I get that. So I would pull the shutters down on a night. I'd drive my car in to make, like, you know, and the wind would brush against the shutters and I'd get woken up and it was freezing. I had a little Cala gas heater, which was, you know, all right, I guess. And I managed to get a little hot plate for downstairs. I was living off takeaways. I was living in this space, which is now thankfully a decent office for us. But the thing is, I had to be willing to give up the comfort and the control. And I had to be willing to give up something good to get something great. If you follow me along here, you'll see down there is where the gym is. But it's not just a gym. It's a private training facility which helps people overcome their laziness, redesign their mindset, and radically transform their self-confidence, health, and personal happiness. And in order to be able to coach that to a high level, you have to have been through a certain amount of laziness yourself, a certain amount of not good health, a certain amount of unhappiness, anxiety, frustration, and living in this space for around 6 months in the cold of winter, literally waking up with slight frost on your forehead to the point where you could see the breath. And this is the conditions I was sleeping in because I wanted to make it happen, right? I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet and I wanted to prove that I could do it. It wasn't a matter of suffering unnecessarily. It was a matter of giving up the comfort and the control of living at home and getting everything done for you and standing on your own 2 feet and making a business work. See, if I was in the environment, it would be on my mind continuously. And when you're starting a business, you know, several years back like I was, it gets to the point where you have to put in the graft, the hard yards, the legwork, the long hours, the consistent overthinking, the overwhelm. You go through the emotions of self-doubt. People criticize you. People call you names. You feel guilty. You go through all the negative shit, but ultimately to produce a greater result. So how willing are you to give up some of that comfort and that control to be able to reach another level, to reach another standard, to be able to say, I did create a successful business. And now 8 years on, we are thriving better than ever. And that comes from you having a strong, resilient mindset and not staying too much in those comfort zones and those places of complete control, needing everything to be a certain way, because sometimes in life it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes in life we have to be willing to go through the struggle, the sacrifice, and give certain things up in order to gain something far more valuable, far more useful, far more abundant in many areas. And you have to go through that. You have to go through that discomfort in order to get what you really want. So Sometimes if you're going through a rough patch, if you're going through, you know, the place where you don't particularly want to be, but you keep pushing forward and you keep putting the work in and you keep showing up and showing up, eventually it'll pay off and you won't have to live in conditions like that, right? But if you want to make it work, sometimes you have to make a little sacrifice. And maybe it's time that you started to sacrifice a little bit to get a reward from it.